Hi there, it's Kevin Ward with Yes Masters Real Estate Success Training and the creator of the FX Extreme Training Camp. And today is the day that you make the decision to take your skills as a real estate professional and master using those skills to help for sell-by owners and expired listings to finally start getting the results that they want. See, here's what I believe. What I believe about real estate agents and for sell-by owners and expireds is that for sell-by owners and expireds really need you. That it's not a matter of tricking them into listing with you and paying you a commission and really they could do it on their own and save themselves money, or there's nothing different than you can do than the other agents. The other agent just failed and you'll give it your shot now. I believe that, and I believe this for years, that you can learn the skills, the strategies, and the systems that will allow you to work with for sell-by owners and expireds in ways that you always get them the results that they want. And typically, even with for sell-by owners, you can help them net as much or more money in their pocket than if they could do doing it themselves. And in this video today, I'm going to do a couple of things. One, I'm going to talk to you about the for sell-by owner, the FX, which is for sell-by owner expired extreme training camp. But there's two main things I'm going to do in this thing. One is I'm going to talk to you and I'm going to teach you today about the exact 5 steps to extreme success in working with for sell-by owners and expireds. And I'm going to actually go with you through that process. What are the exact 5 steps that you need to take with a for sell-by owner and with an expired to help them get the result they want and you get paid? And the second thing I'm going to do is at the end, I'm going to also tell you about over $5,000 in extreme gifts and bonuses that I want to offer you today. And so I want to tell you that and incentivize you to watch this video. One, because you're going to learn some great content. You're going to learn some great information. And two, because I want you to stick around and find out about the $5,000 of gifts and bonuses that I'm going to give you when you take action today. And if you decide to join me for the FX Extreme Training Camp that's coming up here in the near future. So let's talk about the 5 steps to extreme for sell-by owner and expired success. There are really 5 things that you've got to do if you want to list a for sell-by owner or list an expired and help them get, here's what they need you. Here's what you've got to do to help them get that they need you and then deliver them the results that they want. Because let's be real frank here. For sell-by owners and expireds don't want an agent. I guess hopefully you've kind of figured that out by now. They don't want you, but they need what you can help them deliver if you're skilled. So what do you have to do to help bridge that gap? Connect the dots between what they do want, which is they want to move, they want their house to sell, they want to get their property sold, and here's what they want. They want it to sell for the most amount of money in the best amount of time with the least amount of hassle. I mean, that is almost 99% of the time, almost 100% of the time, that is what sellers want from you. How do you create that? How do you create that connection with them, and how do you get them to hire you? Well, here's how you do it. There's 5 steps that you got to take to get a for sell-by owner and expired to list and sell these guys in high volumes. The number 1 step is you've got to learn you've got to connect with them. You've got to somehow connect with a for sell-by owner and expired. Now, what's the challenge here? Well, the challenge is they don't want to connect with you. Okay, if they don't know you, and most of the time they don't, a for sell-by owner is not using an agent for a reason. Now, obviously, you want to identify what is that reason. Is it because they're wanting to save the commission? Or, and this is the primary 2 reasons for sell-by owners try it on their own. Number 1 is to save commission. And number 2 is they've had a bad experience with a real estate agent and don't want to work with an agent. And it typically boils down to one of those 2 or both. They want it's money. They want to save the commission. And 2, or they don't trust you. They don't like agents. They've had a bad experience and they feel like agents I can do as good a job as agents. So how do I connect with them through that? That's the first step, is you've got to learn to connect with them. How do you connect with them? Well, the strategies for connecting, and I want you to write this down because this is the way that you work with for sell-by owners expireds, is 1, is stop trying to convince them to hire you before you've connected with their interest, with what they want. You see, when you first call a for sell-by owner or an expired, if you knock on their door, your first conversation with them, what do they think about you? Here's what they think. They think you only care about getting the listing and getting a commission check. That's what they think. They think it's about you. all you guys are all the same. I know what you want. You just want a listing. That's what they think you want. That's what they think it's about. As long as you're trying to convince them that you're the best agent, if you're trying to convince them to list with you, if I bring you a buyer, if I could show you how to get your property sold for top dollar, would you list with me? Well, all of that is telling them about what you want. I'm going to come out and show you how good I am so that you can list with me. So the first step is learning to connect with them. And the way you connect with them is by speaking in terms of their interest. What do they want? They don't want to list their house. They don't want to sign a listing agreement. They don't want to market their house. All this thing if I can show you how my marketing plan or da-da-da. Now they're going to ask about it. You know that. They're going to ask, well, what are you going to do to market my home? Great question. So which is more important to you, how I market it or the fact that I get it sold and get you top dollar? Well, getting it sold for top dollar is always the most important. So what have I got to focus on? I've got to focus on what they want. And at the FX Extreme Training Camp, we're going to go deep into how do you connect with people who don't want to talk to you? How do you break through that resistance and connect with them? And we're going to talk, for example, let me just tell you a little bit. In terms of connecting, when you call up for sale by owner and expired, that first 30 seconds, sometimes the first 10 seconds is absolutely critical. How do you connect? Well, one of the things I'm going to teach you how to do is stop using what I call resistance triggers. There are 7 things right now that you are saying that are stopping you from being able to get appointments and stopping you from being able to get listings. And we're going to talk about what are the 7 most common resistance triggers that real estate agents use when they're talking to for sale by owners and expireds that make them resist you. And I'm going to help you eliminate all the stupid scripts that you've been using that's been stopping you from getting listings. Now, and this is so amazing how powerful it is when you understand. And as we go through it, you're going to understand, whoa, I never thought about that before. And it makes total sense when you understand what are the things that we say, what are the words that we say that cause people to resist you. And I'll show you, for example, if you want to get your kid to go clean their room and they want to go clean it, without resistance, how do you do it? There's literally a strategy of what you say and how you say it that causes a child to want to take a bath and get ready for bed, to want to go clean their room, or there's the strategies that most parents use that make the kids go, I don't want to, I want to watch more TV, I'll do it tomorrow, I don't want to, and that make the kid resist the whole time. And you can force your kid to go clean the room, and they'll do it, and they'll stuff some stuff under the bed, and they'll begrudge it and all of that. Or you can learn how to connect with what they want and learn how to get the result without the resistance. So the first thing you got to do is learn how to connect with a buyer, connect with a for sale by owner or an expired. And I teach you how to do that. Look, here's what you can't use is BS. There is so much BS in the real estate industry, and you know that they think you're full of BS. That they think you're just using all you guys say the same thing. What do they mean when they're saying that? Is they're saying, I don't believe it. It's BS. So how do you connect with them? Well, the first thing is you show them that you're on their side. How do you do that? By the way, what you say and how you say it. How do you say it? What do you say? You speak in terms of their interest. So you speak in terms of what they want, where they're going next, why are they going there, what is the result they're looking for. Not what are you looking for in an agent? I don't want an agent. I want to move. So learning to connect with them is about learning what not to say and learning what to say to help get them to say yes to you. In fact, if you've watched, and very likely if you're watching this video, you've also watched my 3 magic words video, which is one of the sequences that will teach you to master is how do you lead them through a series of a process and a conversation of asking the right kind of questions. And it's literally a framework that you can learn to master so that it becomes almost second nature of how to do that and learning how to connect with people so they want to talk to you. And here's what you'll hear. When you've learned to master connecting with people, here's what you'll hear. You're going like, I've not talked to any other agents. Every other agent I've hung up on, I don't even know why I'm talking to you. And here I've set an appointment with you and I don't even know why I did it. Well, they don't know, but you know when you've developed the right strategies and the right skills to learn how to connect with them. Now, that's number 1. What's connecting going to do? Connecting is going to either get me a great lead or it's going to get me the appointment. Okay? And either one is a victory. Obviously, the main goal is to get an appointment. You're going to connect with them. Once you've connected with them, you still haven't got the listing yet. All you've gotten is they now know you. And hopefully they're starting to like you, but they don't trust you yet. So what do you do next? Well, the second step is once you've connected with them, is now you have to position yourself as their agent. You've got to position yourself as the solution to their problem. So think about it this way. When you connect, here's how you connect. You have a conversation with them and you get the appointment. Now, have you ever set an appointment with them for sell by owner, and then when you tried to call them back to confirm the appointment or to pre-qualify the appointment, they would never answer and they'd never return your phone call? Or you actually go on the appointment and they no-showed you. Have you ever had that happen? Whether it's a for sale by owner or an expired, if that has happened, here's what that tells you. You did not make a good enough connection to get to the next step. Now, once you connect, when you have a true connection, now you're going to position yourself. And what you want to do is what do I need to do to get them not to feel like they know me, that they like me, and that they trust me? Now, I'll give you one of the most powerful positioning strategies right now is that you can do with anybody, and that is when you get off the phone, you set an appointment with a for sale by owner or an expired. One of the most powerful positioning strategies is simply doing a personal video and literally shooting a quick video there on your webcam, and then immediately send them an email. It's great to talk to you today. Here's some information. Looking forward to meeting with you on Friday. Now, you can do this immediately or you can do it after you've pre-qualified them. And here's basically what the video does. I want to be in business dress. I want to be in a great environment with some good lighting and my camera. And it's going to be basically going to be, hey, Bob, Kevin Ward here. I just wanted to let you know how excited I am and how much I'm looking forward to meeting with you and your wife on Friday to talk about helping you make this move to San Diego. In this email is some information that I'd like for you to go through before our meeting. And if you have any questions before we meet, feel free to call me or reply to me on this email, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. And again, I'm looking forward to meeting with you and your wife on Friday afternoon at 3:15. We'll see you then. And that's the email, that's the video. And literally then you send a video, and what that does is when you're talking to them on the phone, they have not seen your face, they don't know you, but there is something about seeing somebody on video that you feel like you know them. Now you became a real person to them. It's one of the beauties of what what technology allows us to do today is now you're the one who is a real person to them. And all of a sudden it becomes harder for them to no-show you and more likely for them to talk to you. Now again, how you present yourself in the video matters. You want to make sure you got great energy, you're smiling. Here's something you don't want to do. If you want to position yourself as their agent, you don't want to look like this. I'm really excited about meeting with you. We're going to talk about helping you get your home listed and get your home sold. And if you have any questions at all, I want you to feel free to call me and I'll be happy to help you. Now, I just did a whole lot of things wrong right there. I look worried, your face is stressed, I'm not smiling, I'm shaking my head no. You're doing a lot of things that will kill you in terms of connecting and positioning. So it's all about how you present yourself. And connecting and then positioning is where you are inspiring them to trust you, to believe that you're the best agent to get them the best result. And so you now have to position yourself as their go-to agent. Now, you got to be careful on this. If you try to compete with other agents on their marketing plan, you and I both know that the best agent is not necessarily the one that has the best marketing plan. And when I say best marketing plan, I'm talking about that has the 127-point marketing plan. Now, I know some of you have heard this BS that you and I both know that marketing plans don't sell houses. Now, you know that, right? The marketing plan is not what gets a home sold. Okay? But that's what sellers want, so that's what we have to deliver them. Are you kidding me? Now, this is one of the things that I'm excited that you're listening to this video or watching this video, because I think the industry, we need to reset our entire real estate industry and free it from that kind of BS. That here's what you're doing. When you're competing on marketing plan, this is the worst way to position yourself as the go-to agent. When you're competing on marketing plan, you're doing two things. One, you're setting yourself up to become a commodity of who does the most stuff for the seller. And number two, you are just slicing away your profitability. Because most of the marketing stuff, the more stuff you do, the more time it's going to take and the more expense it's going to have for you. And you know it's not going to get you the result, but you think because the sellers want it, that's what you have to deliver. Okay, can I teach you a ninja powerful truth about understanding for sale by owners and expireds? They don't give a crap. Don't be offended, but this is true. They don't give a crap about your marketing plan. They have one thing they want, and that is a result. And they don't care about the process that you're going to use to get them there. All they want to know is, can you get me the result I want? And the only reason that they care about your marketing strategy, the marketing plan, is because they don't trust you. It's because they don't believe you. It's because they don't know, how do I evaluate one agent compared to another? Now, the other thing is that if you're believing that you got to compete on marketing plan, then what you're doing is you're trying to justify your value based on how much work you do on all your marketing stuff, how much money you're spending. No. Can I teach you a way to put more money in your pocket and work less? Here it is. You get paid for results, period. And okay, let me just give you, if it's okay, I'm going to give you a little ninja objection handler here, where if a seller sometimes says, well, if you get it sold in less than 2 weeks, or it's sold fast or whatever, or this will happen after you've negotiated a sale and it's sold really quick and it's sold for a great price, and they're going like, well, it was so easy, you didn't have to do all that marketing you were telling me about. Would you give us a break on the commission? Because we really don't want to pay all that money, because I mean, look, you had it on the market for 2 days and it's already sold. You didn't have to work that hard. I appreciate you asking that, Mr. and Ms. Seller. However, please understand, I get paid for the result, not for how much effort I spend. Now, does that make sense? Well, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Well, I understand that. So would it be helpful for you if we kind of messed some stuff up and made it a lot more stressful and a lot more hard and made me work more effort? Would you feel more just? Would that make you happy if we drug this out over another 6 months and went through all this pain and agony and you were stressed out and freaking out and we lost 3 deals? Would that make you feel like I was working harder and earning my keep? And they're going like, no. And I'm like, okay, good. I'm so glad. So look, this is what you hired me to do, right? And because we did it quickly and easily, that made it easier for you, right? Aren't you excited about that? So here's the deal. I deliver results, and then you just tell them, I get paid for the results, not for how much effort, not how much hassle that we have to go through. Does that make sense? And that, guys, that's the reality, is if you understand that you get paid for results, you're going to save yourself a lot of heartache of having to spend money and give it away. So number 1 is you've got to connect. Number 2, you got to position yourself as the go-to agent. How do you differentiate yourself from other agents? In fact, at the FX Extreme Training Camp, some of the things that we'll do is I will teach you some strategies. In fact, I'm going to give you 4 unstoppable strategies that will differentiate you from your competition. Now, when you're dealing with for sale by owners and expireds, one of the toughest things about dealing with this type of seller is that you're typically competing with other agents. So it makes it infinitely harder because they're comparing your stuff with their stuff. So what I'm going to teach you is, I'll teach you 4 absolutely ninja strategies that will separate you from other agents without you having to outspend all the other agents. And it's so awesome. Also, another thing that you're going to learn at the FX Extreme Training Camp is how to offer 4, and I teach you 4 different no BS guaranteed sales strategies where you can offer them a guaranteed sale. And I teach you 4 different ways that you can do that, that's legal, it's ethical, and it's not fluff, hypey, gimmicky crap. Okay? And it's absolutely powerful at positioning yourself. In fact, I'm going to teach you a couple of strategies that will help you get appointments with expireds that don't even want to talk to you. Now, let me give you one other one. One of the things that I will teach at the FX Extreme Training Camp is how do you set a qualified, legitimate listing appointment with a for sale by owner on the first contact. And I'm going to show you a step-by-step strategy how literally the first time you talk to them, I mean, literally the first day they're on the market, when they have every intention of selling it themselves, that you can get a bona fide, legitimate listing appointment with them that day. Now, here's the beauty of that, guys, and I've done this for years. When I really started hammering for sale by owners, here's what I discovered. I was getting appointments and getting listings before your first postcard even showed up. And I'm going to teach you, you'll learn exactly how to beat the agent who goes with the mail campaign by skill and by a strategy that gets you in front of them. And even if a for sale by owner chose not to list with you up front, just the way of connect, because you're going to be at a higher level of connection and positioning with them because you've actually been with them, was going to set you way ahead of one that's sending stuff in the mail. Now, I'm not opposed to sending stuff in the mail, and we'll teach you some marketing materials and give you some templates and stuff that are off the charts powerful, some ninja stuff. Like one of my favorites is an article that you will write it. It's your article, and basically it's a co-written thing, but I give you the licensing rights to it. And it's called The Dirty Little Secret Agents Don't Want You to Know. And it is so powerful at working with expireds and for sale by owners. In fact, it will also help you work with any seller and keeping from getting overpriced listings and protecting you from that agent. Remember the other agent that goes out there and tells them what they want to hear and takes it overpriced, and then you find out because you told them the truth you didn't get the listing? How would you like for that to never happen again? And so I actually teach you a specific strategy and a process of how do you position yourself as the agent they can trust, and that will help literally position other agents who try to overprice the listing to tell them what they want to hear, that literally will put them in the doghouse. And so they're going like, even as that agent starts talking about overpricing it, they're going like, nope, 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 nope. Now they're not doing it consciously, but they're doing it subconsciously. And it's amazing how that will work. Now, the next step is you position yourself so they know you, they like you, and they trust you. And then when you show up at the listing presentation, the next thing that you've got to learn, that you've got to do, is be able to inspire the hire. Is how do I inspire them to hire me on the spot? So again, the process in fact, you're going to learn a listing presentation that will literally get the signature the first time you're at their house. Now I'm going to go back again to positioning with for sale by owners. One of the great things that if you'll learn what to say and how to say it, you can literally get a for sale by owner to set an appointment with you, and you don't have to do this preview appointment stuff. Now I'm not opposed to preview appointments where you go preview a house for a for sale by owner, as long as you don't get in, if you don't get in there on false pretenses. Then the false pretense is, I may have a buyer for your house, when you don't. And let's be honest, hopefully you probably don't have a buyer for that house. And I'm not saying hopefully, I'm just saying that's not the way you get for sale by owners to list with you. In fact, that actually keeps a for sale by owner from listing with you. So can I give you another little bonus training on what doesn't work with for sale by owners? If I bring you a buyer, would you pay me? Or I may have a buyer for your house. Let me come out and see it and see if it fits for one of my buyers. Because that's what a for sale by owner will ask, right? They'll say, do you have a buyer for me? Well, I might. Let me come out and look at it. I don't know until I come out and look at it. Now, what are they thinking when you say that? They're thinking, I don't need to list with an agent, because if an agent has a buyer, they'll come see me. Now, reality, check. That's not how for sale by owners that's not how agents with buyers go look for houses, right? It doesn't work that way. A for sale by owner thinks, hey, if you have a buyer as an agent, you're going to come to me. Well, the reality is agents that have good qualified buyers don't go to for sale by owners. That's not where they go to look. They go to the MLS, and they go to find properties that are listed with real estate agents, right? So this idea of, I need to come out and I may have a buyer for your house. Let me come out and look at it and see if it'll work for my buyer. The problem with it, one is because it's probably BS. But two, you're training the for sale by owner to not list with you, to not hire you. I mean, now why would they hire you? You know about their house, right? You already know about it. And so if you have a buyer, you've already told them you're bringing them. So why in the world would they ever think about listing with you? And now you got to do the other BS, which is bait and switch. Now I got to try to convince them to list with me. So again, and I'm just giving you, this is actually a little bit of one of the techniques, I'll teach you 5 things that stop you from getting listings, and that's one of them, is we're using BS and we actually are training them to not list with us. Isn't that interesting? So don't position yourself to not get the listing by pretending like you have buyers and you'll bring them. Okay? If they say, do you have a buyer for my house? Well, that's a great question. I am not calling today. I've got a lot of buyers, but I'm not calling today because I have a specific buyer for your home. And then you just go into the next line in the script. Okay? So you let them know up front, I'm not BSing you, I'm not pretending to have a buyer, because that's BS. They don't want, and look, they don't want your BS. And they know it's BS when you show up and now you try to turn it into a listing appointment. So don't ever do that. Let me just tell you this. If you want to become a master of working with for sale by owners and expireds and delivering the result they want, you can learn to do it with no BS. Period. We've had enough BS in our industry. It's time to get rid of it. I mean, and don't you feel better when you can shoot straight with them and deliver the value? Absolutely. So you get there and learn to inspire the hire. How do you inspire the hire? By demonstrating to them that you can deliver the result that they want. And the moment that they believe that you can help them get the result they want, which is get the most money in their pocket in the best amount of time with the least amount of hassle, they'll list with you. And you can literally go in and get a listing signed on the first appointment with for sale by owners and expireds simply by learning to connect, learning to position yourself as the solution to their problem, and then when you get there, learning what to say and how to say it to lead them to a decision. And leading them to a decision to believe that, look, here's the way I look at it. I want it to be easy. I mean, when you go on a listing appointment, do you want getting the signature to be hard? You got to just beat them up, and I beat them up, and I didn't quit, and I didn't get, I closed on them 17 times. Which, look, you're awesome. I'm so glad you closed on them 17 times, and you've got the listing. But I would really just rather have to just ask them one time. So, do you have any other questions, or are you ready to get started? Are you ready to put me to work? No, we're ready. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna have you initial and sign right here, and we'll go through all the paperwork and get everything ready to rock and roll. Easy. Look, if you want to become a master, this is why I call it extreme. It's extreme because you make the tough stuff effortless. That's extreme. Making the tough, you see the extreme sports where these guys are up there, they're climbing on rocks and they're hanging on it. The craziest thing is the way they make it look effortless. Why? Because of skill. So, inspire the hire. That's the next thing you got to do. So then when you do that, the fourth thing that you got to do, once you get them to hire you, is now you got to do what they hired you to do, which is deliver results. Now, what stops us when you take a listing? What stops you from delivering results? What stops you from getting it sold? Well, probably the most common thing is our price is too high. We overprice it. So one of the things you've got, if you want to deliver results, never take an overpriced listing, ever. Because I'm going to teach you one of the most powerful ways to position yourself as a go-to agent is when you say, they say, well, how can you guarantee me you can get the result? Well, I want to come out and share with you exactly what I'm going to do to help you make this move happen. Well, can you guarantee that? Absolutely. Oh, how are you going to guarantee it? Well, when we get together, I'll explain that. Because when I sell every listing I take. How do you do that? Because you never take an overpriced listing and you never work with unmotivated sellers. So you find out, are they motivated or not? Because look, if they're not motivated, truly not motivated, they're not going to price it right. They're going to be over demanding and you're not going to get it sold and you're not going to get paid. You lose, they lose, and you don't enjoy yourself near as much when you take an overpriced listing and they don't like you and they're never going to use you again. I mean, some of you are sitting here going like, whoa, I've never thought of that before. Think about this. Think about what if you do it right and learning how to be strong enough with skills, strategies, and systems to be strong enough that every listing I take, I get it sold. Now, when I discovered that, it was an agent in Houston that I met at a seminar, and I was talking to her about her business, and she said, yeah, I didn't do as many deals as I wanted to last year. I only sold 22 listings. Really? Well, it's not bad. And I said, so how many listings you take? She said 22. You took 22, you sold 22. Because see, I was always taught to calculate, so you sell about 60, 70, 80% of your listings. And that was the way I was programmed. And I hear this lady, and she said, I just don't take any overpriced listing. And here's the beauty. Every single person that I talk to that's a seller is I can simply say, they say, well, you all guys all say the same thing. Well, I appreciate that. However, would you like to work with an agent that gets every single listing sold for top dollar? Yes, that's what I do. Every listing. I'm not looking to list your home. I'm looking to help you make this move happen. And when you are able to position yourself because you know what to do and how to do it, and you know how to communicate with them. And again, one of the things you'll learn at the FX Extreme Training Camp is in a process in the listing presentation of not how you tell them the right price, but how do you educate them and lead them to a decision to list it at the right price and handle all the objections and all of that, or even better, is eliminate the objection to trying to overprice it. And why them overpricing it is always a bad move for them. Now again, this is one of the things, if you don't understand this yet, you'll learn this at the training camp, is that when you take a listing overpriced and say, well, I'm going to list it, they wouldn't believe me, so I'm going to take it overpriced and then I'll work with them and they'll figure it out once we don't get it sold for 3 months. Are you kidding me? Can I tell you the problem with that? The problem with that is that it hurts them. And it will literally cause them to get their home sold for less. And if you don't understand that, we'll go deep into all of this at the training camp, is that when you take an overpriced listing, not only does it hurt you and it hurts your credibility, but it also hurts them. And if you understand this, it's way easier to position yourself with somebody, with a seller, when you can speak with total integrity that you know you always represent their best interest, and you're not willing to do something that's not in their best interest, and you have the skill to help educate them and lead them to make a good decision on pricing, not a bad decision. And when you do that, then you can deliver the results. That's what you get paid for. And here's the most beautiful part of it. When you deliver the results, the next thing that can happen that really helps you, will help you become a dominant force with for sale by owners and expireds. So remember, we're talking about raking in tons of money, becoming the expert in this industry of working with for sale by owners and experts. In your market, how do you become the expert of working with for sale by owners? That is because you know how to connect, you know how to position, you know how to inspire them to hire you, because if you don't get that, you can be a great agent and you got a great heart and you can always tell them the truth, but if you can't inspire them to trust you enough to hire you, you lose, right? Hey, you got a great heart, you care about people, but you didn't have the skills and the strategies to get them to hire you, you lost. And then if you don't deliver the results, you got nothing but an overpriced listing, right? And look, having an expired listing that sucks. You want to make sure every time you take a listing that they get a result they want and you get paid. And then step 5, which is where, look, I'm going to tell you, even the best listing agents on the planet, 90% of the best listings agents on the planet stop at number 4. Here's the power of, and especially with for sale by owners and expireds, and that is learn how to leverage your success. Now, how do you leverage your success? Well, look, if you send right now, if you send to an expired listing your marketing strategy, your marketing plan, they look at it and they go like, it looks like everybody else's marketing plan. But what if you send them to a web page, just a link, they click on it and it goes to a web page and it says, what other expired listings have experience with Kevin, with you? And they click on it and there's this story after story after story, and they're videos of your satisfied, happy for sale by owner and expires that you have now listed and sold their property. And they're saying on the camera, they're talking, they're going like, when Kevin first called us, we hung up on him the first time he called us. And then we were so fed up with agents because we'd had our house on the market for over 6 months. We'd tried 2 different agents in the past and never could get the results. And we'd pretty well just given up on agents. We'd actually decided to do it ourselves. And Kevin was friendly, he was polite, and we finally gave him a shot. And he came in here and he told us, and one of the things we loved is he always told us the truth. And when we listed with him, he got our property sold in less than 2 weeks, and it was awesome. And if you are ever needing a great agent that can get you a great result, Kevin is your guy. And that's a video. And when you get a video testimonial from an expired listing that you've helped successfully sell their home, or a previous for sale by owner, when you send that to an expired and they watch it, they don't believe you, but they believe that guy. Now, they don't know who that person is. They don't know who she is, who he is, those other sellers. They've never met them. But this is the power of third-party testimonials. So what I'm teaching you right now in leveraging your success, this is so powerful. In fact, I believe this is the single most powerful marketing strategy for working with for sale by owners and expireds. And like I told you at the beginning, I'm actually hopefully delivering you some valuable content here. This is not just a sales pitch. I hope I'm teaching you something here that if you want to get really great with for sale by owners and expireds, if you've ever listed a for sale by owner or an expired and successfully sold it, even if it was a year ago, go back to them, call them and say, hey, there's a lot of expired listings out there and I want to be able to help them. And I believe if I had your story of success, that it would help them trust me more. Would you be willing to do that for me? And the answer will most of the time be yes. And it's better if you do it immediately while the property's being sold, or when you get the success, when they're the happiest and it's fresh. But even after the fact, if you went back to the 3 expireds or 3 for sale by owners you sold last year, and you went back to them and you got video testimonials, a written testimonial is okay, a video testimonial is way better. 1, because nobody can think it's not true. And 2, because then when you get a video testimonial, you also have a written testimonial because you just transcribe it and you've got the actual testimonial in writing and by video. But if you set an appointment or you talk to a for sale by owner and they go like, look, we don't like agents, they're all the same, great. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to shoot you some information. It'll just give you some great tips and maybe help you in terms of getting your property sold for top dollar, and a little bit of information and a little bit about what I've done and so forth. So you just send them this email. It's got a link to it and it goes, and instead of you talking about you, it's other people talking about you, not just anybody, but it's 3 for sale by owners who said, you know, when we first met Kevin, he came out, and one of the things we appreciated right away was Kevin always told us the truth. He didn't pretend like he had a buyer. He didn't do any of that crap. And then when we listed with him, he actually got our property sold for more than we expected, was able to net us a great price in our pocket. Even after we had to pay him his commission, we still got what we needed to make this move happen. And so if you're ever thinking about it, you know, I know you're but I know you may be worried about the commission, but look, Kevin will deliver great results and it's great value and so forth. Now, how do you do that? Here's what I'm going to teach at the FX Extreme Training Camp. I'm going to literally teach you the step-by-step process, what to say and how to say it. Not only how do you convince a client to do a video testimonial for you, because you know how hard that can be, because they're so nervous with videos. So I'm going to actually, I've never seen any other, in the real estate industry, I've never seen this taught. I will actually teach you what to say and how to do a great video testimonial. I'll teach you a couple of different approaches that you can either do it when you're with them or when you're not with them, that will help them do great video testimonials that are authentic and real, and that are so powerful that when you develop that, and over time, you're going to have, instead of, you're going to have 1 first, and then you're going to have 3, and then all of a sudden you're going to have 17 of these video testimonials, and learning how to put those in the right way to get them in front of other expired listings, and 1 for sale by owners. Those specific, speaking directly to someone's situation, is off the charts powerful. So learn how to leverage your success. When you've successfully sold an expired or for sale by owner, learn how to leverage that to get more listings. Now, there's another strategy that I'll teach you at the training camp on how do you get that seller to give you more referrals, which is awesome, where you're, again, leveraging your success. So I hope that's helpful for you. This is the stuff we're going to go in deep dive in at the FX Extreme Training Camp. There's so many things we're going to teach you. I'm going to teach you influence triggers. We're going to go deep dive in the skills of communication strategies. So when we talk about communication strategies, I'm talking about things like influence skills of how do you get people to say yes to you. We'll talk about tonality, body language. We'll talk about how to use downswings, how to use tie downs, how to use mirroring and matching, pacing and leading people. A lot of the NLP techniques. And let me tell you this. Here's one of the things about NLP techniques. When you do it, a lot of the training that I've seen done on NLP, and NLP is just a tool of communication. And there's a lot of other different influence strategies that are not NLP. But when NLP is done, if it's done poorly, it looks mechanical. And when it looks mechanical, it's actually worse than not using it at all. I mean, when you do a embedded command poorly, it actually can create more resistance than not doing it at all. Okay, it's kind of like in athletics. If you try to do a move that you're not good enough to do and you don't have the skill to do it, you can actually hurt yourself. Actually, it's kind of like in basketball. I played basketball all my life, and so like they used to tell you, dribble in behind your back. Well, if you don't know how to dribble behind your back with skill, you lose the ball. If you do it with skillfully and you know how to do it, not mechanically, but do it absolutely with skill and to perfection, it helps you position yourself and get past the defense so you can make a goal. So learning how to do it with skill is so important. And what I've seen is much of the NLP training is done by trainers who either they've never sold a house, and certainly if they've sold a house, they've not talked to thousands and thousands and thousands of for sale by owners and expireds like I have. And so I'm able to teach you something that I've mastered by personal experience because I've talked to all these for sale by owners and expireds. I've taken the no's, I've taken the crap, I've made all the mistakes, I've used all the resistance triggers, and I've just studied it and finally have learned to master how do you lower resistance and get people to say yes to you. How do you connect? How do you position? How do you inspire them to hire you? Make sure you can deliver the results, and then learn to leverage the success.